Stephanie and Julian Goldie here in the building, and today we're going to be talking about ChatGPT Search and whether it's the end of Google search because so many people are beginning to use AI, and I think it's not gone fully mainstream yet. Like, we'll come on to this later, but I can see this definitely a massive threat to Google. SEO is changing. I've had tons of agencies DM me, especially like the last couple of weeks, about what's going on, what's going to happen next. So let's get straight into it if you want.
Okay, let's go.
Perfect. All right. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how optimistic are you feeling about Google search over the next 10 years? You think people will still be using it?
I want to say no, but I don't want to say that because even with me, when I want to Google something or look for something now, ChatGPT, I'm like, it does it all for you, gives you like bullet point like laydowns and everything. But I feel like it's still going to be like there'll be like some more traditional people who will just stick to Google. But yeah, I'm not feeling confident about it.
Yeah, the way that I see it is I can imagine, and we'll come on to this later, but I can imagine that more people will be searching than ever simply because it's easier and it's a better experience with AI. But at the same time, the traditional sort of model of looking at 10 links and then knowing 50% of them are affiliates that we probably do link building for anyway, like those days I think are gone when it comes to searching. So I think that honestly, number one, it's a massive threat to Google unless Google really step up the search experience. But number two is the game is not going to be so much about ranking inside Google. It's going to be about how do you rank inside ChatGPT, if that makes sense. And so the way that I see it is that's going to change the game massively. For example, when you're inside ChatGPT and you ask for recommendations, what I've seen is that it gives very personalized answers. But if you need a recommendation for a product or something like that, it's way more specific. If I'm like, okay, I'm a 35-year-old lad living abroad, what's the best shoes to wear in this climate or something like that, it's going to tell me exactly what I need. It's going to be super personalized. You don't get that inside Google, right?
No, I don't, yeah, you can't bring like your kind of not feelings, like you into the like equation. It's more of a broad like opening where I feel like, yeah, with ChatGPT, you literally write, hey, listen, as you said, I'm like 5'2", I weigh this much, I'm gonna
Yeah,
be
yeah.
here. But you can really put it around you and it is gonna, like you said, like tailor to you personally. Yeah, I don't think Google has that.
Have you checked how people are ranking inside ChatGPT? Have you looked into it or done like any experiments? 'Cause it's pretty interesting from what I've seen so far.
No, I haven't actually looked into that.
So what I've seen so far is that it's very similar. So if you look at the rankings from Google and you look at the rankings from ChatGPT, say ChatGPT Search, which is a new product, what you can see is that typically the pages with the most backlinks are still ranking. Like it's still a game of authority, and it's been a game, ever since the day Google and Search was released. But the biggest difference that I see is that previously on Google, if you had a DR0 or a DR10 website or a website without many backlinks, you still had a shot. You could still
Mhm.
rank. Nowadays, when I check ChatGPT and I've run a few experiments looking for products, you can't find anything. There's no DR0 websites, there's no minimal brands, and it seems like there's going to be a wave of websites that either start building links or they get wiped out completely.
That makes sense.
Because like, how does the AI know if you're an authority or not? How do they know whether they trust you or not? Yeah.
That's true.
The other thing I wonder as well is you've got two different waves of AI. You've got many different waves of AI, right? For example, you got Claude, you got ChatGPT, and no one really knows who's going to be the most dominant over the next few years. For you, which brand do you normally use?
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT, right? And I think that's probably the more mainstream option. But there's going to be some people who might think that Grok is going to win the long-term race. Elon Musk and X
Mhm.
and the old version of it used to be called Twitter, but now it's called X. That's already got obviously a ridiculous amount of users, but number two, it's like the main source of news already. And so if people start using Grok for their information, I think it's not just about backlinks at that point, but also about mentions on the platform. If loads of people tweet about you, or they recommend Goldie Agency, or they recommend Stephanie for link building and whatever it is, at that point, Grok is going to be manipulated into recommending you because it just sees so many brand mentions for that particular topic.
That is true, yeah. 100%.
Hmm. And how about like when it comes to when you're using ChatGPT, are you typically using it on your mobile, on the app? Like, where are you using it?
I use it both on the app on my phone, also just on like the PC, like on the desktop. So I don't have an app of it on the desktop. I just have it in my browser.
Yeah, yeah. Have you noticed like when you typically, if you ask for a product, it doesn't actually link to the website most of the time. It's just a mention of the name.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you have to do that like yourself to then go actually then to Google to actually like kind of get.
Yeah, that's what I see is it might be a case that these AI search engines actually send less traffic to you, which is risky for a lot of website owners, but at the same time, it's like they'll send you less traffic, but that traffic will convert a lot better.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
these are a few things that I'm seeing. Like number one, it's mainly backlinks. That's still the biggest ranking factor in the fact that you're not seeing many DRC errors in that ranking. Number two is that if Grok starts getting a lot of traffic, then that's going to be manipulated inside Twitter's algorithm, X's algorithm, not just inside Google or with backlinks. And then the other thing is unlinked mentions. It might be a case that previously people would go straight from Google or the search engine to your website. Now I think they're gonna have to. It's gonna be harder to find your website, but that traffic is gonna convert more.
Yeah, definitely. I
Yeah,
agree with that one.
that's it. What about your clients? What are they saying when it comes to AI? Are you getting a lot of questions about it?
We did a little while ago. I feel like now it's settled back down, but I feel like about a year ago, and it really was like all of Google's new updates. I just wanted to stop talking because I didn't know what was going to happen. Okay, yeah, yeah. So I think oh, that's where I was. So yeah, when Google did all of their updates, all based around like AI and like when it became like a big thing before Google released their like Gemini, so their AI version of it. I think a lot of people were really worried about what was going to happen, not really knowing. And like when AI really become, a lot of people started like using it as the conversation we're having today. So I think some clients were like worried if they weren't appearing on like other like platforms or on the SERPs or anything like that. They feel like they weren't going to get noticed. But I feel like now we've rode the wave and understood, okay, it still matters that you're appearing on Google. You're still going to get traffic. You're still like, you still need to be appearing on Google because I don't think Google will ever die. I feel like we'll find maybe like slightly different like alternatives, but I feel like Google will always be Google. And even if we go to ChatGPT, I will look for recommendations for like restaurants near me or something. I'm still going to go to Google and see like where they're ranking, the reviews they've got, and stuff like that. I'm still going to go and do that a little additional research. So I feel like, yeah, clients were worried about it, but they've rode the wave and understood that, yeah, it's not completely stopped. It's just tweaking a little bit. That's what I feel like I've experienced with my clients.
Yeah, I've seen the same where it's like there was a time where everyone just thought SEO in general was totally dead. And then I
Hmm.
think, like you say, there's a lot less fear now, but it's more okay, if you look over the next 5 or 10 years, number one, yeah, people will still be using Google, and number two, people will probably be searching more than they ever were. Like
Yeah.
we've always searched for information ever since the days of the Bible, for example.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the way that I see it. The other thing that I've tested is, for example, you've got search engines like ChatGPT or Perplexity that are generated by AI, and YouTube ranks really well inside these search engines. So, for example, you can publish on a brand new channel for a particular keyword that you want to rank for, you can publish a video, and like within 24 hours, Perplexity is going to be feeding that information, and for some reason, inside Perplexity, you'll see a bigger thumbnail for the video than you will for anybody's links or for any other sources. And so, like, in some ways, these AI search engines favor YouTube because I think it's more engaging content. And number two, they trust YouTube. Like, we've got some camera problems, but I'm switching back. So, yeah, I think number two is that they actually just trust YouTube more, like these search engines. Like, that's basically how they operate.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. But the thing that I see as well is, for example, we've tried to sell SEO as a service for video ranking, and nobody's really interested. Like, nobody really cares about it yet.
Yeah, no, I think we're still early doors on that. Like we know what's like the effect it's going to have in the future, but I think people are still waiting to board that train. I think people aren't 100% sure the like outcome it's going to have at the moment. But yeah, I think it's going to be coming.
Yeah, 100%. So, just actionable takeaways there. So, number one, Google search is certainly at risk, but people will still be using Google. It's just gonna, that percentage is gonna diminish because more people will be using ChatGPT, but Google's never gonna die out. Their stock price has increased ever since. Number two is that if you want to rank inside these AI search engines, it's case of like just building more backlinks and building more authority, building more mentions across the web, right? Number three, usually ranks really well inside of all of these search engines. And number four, you don't need to worry about, okay, is SEO going to die out or is it the end of SEO? But you do need to worry about, okay, how can I optimize for these search engines? Because Google is no longer going to be the only place that people search. Anything else to add?
No, I think that's it.
Awesome. All right. So if you want to get a free ChatGPT AI SEO course, link in the comments and description if you want to get free access to that. Comes with over 200 tutorials, tips, templates, and SOPs on exactly how to do SEO for your website, leveraging AI. And there's a case study and an SOP for every single one of those methods. The other thing I was going to say is if you want to jump on a free one-to-one SEO strategy session, feel free to book that in. In fact, if you mention that you want Stephanie as your account manager on the call, we'll make sure that happens. You get Stephanie who's my most trusted account manager. We worked for 4 or 5 years together, right?
Correct, yes.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right. Cheers, Steph.
Bye.
Bye bye.